When it comes to MBEs, OBEs or CBEs, some parts of the UK are apparently thriving and others are barely on the map, according to data compiled by Awards Intelligence, a leading consultancy that helps individuals and businesses secure prestigious awards. Who knew? Royal honours, high-profile appointments, etc. So what does that mean for communities whose contributions might go unrecognised? Well, honours specialist Claire James from Awards Intelligence joins me now in the studio, and we're going to talk about that regional divide and the reforms that she believes and the organisation believes could make the system fairer. So, Claire, your analysis shows that entire counties, for example, appear just once on the honours list. So do you believe this is evidence of a structural bias in the nomination system?
I'm not sure it's a structural bias as such. What we're calling it a nomination pipeline failure. And I think that partially is down to, in London, in the southern counties, there's a greater awareness of the honours system itself and also the nomination process. And I think if there was if we were able to spread the word a little bit better, we were able to help people understand the nomination process a little bit better, we might be able to close that gap a little bit.
Well, could we start with that then?
Of course.
What is the nomination process?
Well, when we did some research just before Christmas at Awards Intelligence, we found that only 27% of people in the UK realise that in order for somebody to receive a royal honour, they have to be nominated by somebody else. There's this daft misunderstanding that you have to sit there and wait for King Charles to give you a tap on the shoulder and say, great job, I'm going to give you an honour. You do need to actually be on it to win it.
Lots of us thought that was the case. Not necessarily a physical tap,
no,
but that, your work is out there somehow. So could I nominate somebody that I work with or somebody who works for a charity? Could I just nominate them?
Absolutely. It's very simple. You go onto the government website, you download a nomination form, which is available to everybody. And in that, you set out clearly and concisely how that individual has made positive contribution within their sector, their community, their society, and tell the honours committees why they're wonderful, what they've done, why they're honours worthy. You then send that off up to the Honours Secretariat and it goes in the queue for the Honours Committees to review.
So if more and more people get to find out that you can nominate somebody who you think is worthy, this is the process, do you think this is going to even out in some way, the disparity between counties? I
think there's more that could be done by the honours system and the committees themselves to reach out into those coastal, rural areas. Angus and Rutland, for example, received one nomination each, I think, in the most recent data. More could be done.
Did they get it?
They did. But I think more can be done to show that inclusivity. I think you could be getting local Chamber of Commerce to be letting local thriving business owners know. You could be tapping into local business networks, for example, and the honours committees could be showing that those doors are open to them. And I think as well, there's an issue almost created by the media and the coverage that the honours do get, because you turn on the news and you say, the New Year's honours list is out, and it's celebrities, it's high flyers from the city, and that can be quite off-putting, I think, from individuals that are, healthcare workers, the local community heroes.
And they might be in a list that you could read in a broadsheet or on a website, but of course it's the celebrities and the high-profile people that the news clings on to.
And don't get me wrong, that I always say it's unfortunate that happens, but equally that's what keeps the honours system alive.
Yeah.
In a very modern day where we're run by social media and attention span, and actually the honours system is an age-old, UK institution that would be forgotten about if those celebrities weren't flying the flag for it. You see Tess Daly at her investiture ceremony, a couple of months ago, holding her medal. That's reminding people the honours system exists. It plays its part.
Yeah, it's always really slightly weird to me. Lived away from the UK for a long time, that you'd hear about people getting their honours, and then it'd be months until you saw a photograph of them. That's by the by. So if honours act as credibility signals that can boost someone's career by hundreds of thousands of pounds over time. I didn't think about that being a thing. Does unequal distribution risk reinforcing that regional economic inequality then?
I suppose it would. If you are somebody that lives in London, the likelihood of you being noticed and nominated is higher.
Right.
Again, because that awareness is higher. There's a higher concentration of institutions, business networks, all of those things. So yes, possibly. But I think equally, I think with the more regional areas, potentially the income might not be as high because you're not being rewarded or awarded for the same things. But the point of us pointing out the lifetime value of an honour is to demonstrate the doors it can open, that badge of trust, like you said, that credibility, and it's global.
Yes, but what doors can it open?
Well, I think, say, for example, you run a charitable institution and you're looking to go out to get further funding or support from big businesses. If you walk into the room and say, well, I've got King Charles's endorsement, so don't you think you should support?
So, Claire, that's what it is. It is that a royal has endorsed
Correct.
you. Yeah. So I get it. And actually, we were talking about this before we came on air today. For charities, it's really quite a wonderful thing, presumably. But how does that translate? Is it because people are impressed by that? They say, okay, if the king endorses it, I'll give my money.
The process from nominating somebody, what happens is it hits the committees, and then the committees will do a sift and they say, yes, we believe, based on everything in this nomination and our research and our looking into this person, they're viable for an honour. From there, it then goes to the government. The government then give their sign-off and then it goes to the king.
Who does it in the government? Do you know?
No, it's all very sneaky-peaky.
There we go, sneaky-peaky. Why do you think, apart from the fact that London has a lot of high-profile people, it's the capital, they're drawn to it,
yes,
etc. London and the South East tend to dominate when you looked and did this research. Is it simply because it's the capital city? Is it about populations? Is it network and access? What is it?
It's all of those things,
okay.
I think it's all of those things. And I think, as I said, where there's a higher density of people that have honours tell people about the honours. So you go for more the further and further afield you go from London, where there's less and less people that are carrying those letters after their name, automatically that recognition of an honour is going to drop off. Because it's almost a word of mouth thing, isn't it? Many of our clients that we work with, the person nominating will have an honour. And they're nominating somebody else to get an honour.
So when one door opens for you, bring another one through.
And very much so. So I think, as I said, if we can get better outreach, we can get more nominations from these more rural, coastal, remote areas, we will see a knock-on effect. We'd love to see that.
Are you doing this on other local radio stations? Because it seems a little bit back, but I nearly said a rude word then. Like backwards, that you would be talking to BBC Radio London when really you should be in Humberside and somewhere in Norfolk and somewhere in Lancashire, telling them this is how you encourage people to nominate.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
Excellent.
And I wholeheartedly support, this isn't a London versus the rest of the UK situation.
No,
it's not. What I want is, I want to see greater adoption of the honours nominations. I want to see more people being celebrated. Everybody in London that has received an honour is deserving of it. It's just that they've been nominated and we just want to see more of it.
Okay, so what are the physical reforms that could be put in place?
I think more outreach on the ground in these areas, as I said, would be great. I think you could have local ambassadors, for example, that go down, twice a year, hold a meeting in the town hall, explain the nomination process, show them how easy it is, remind them what impact looks like. So as I said before, you get a lot of people that be watching the news and going, yeah, but Idris Elba's getting an honour. I can't be Idris Elba. Or, I'm only doing this. I'm only a local healthcare worker. I've only been coaching the under-6s football team for 15 years. That is honours-worthy stuff because you're contributing to your community. So reframing what impact looks like is really important. And it's the honours system's job to do that. I think, again, local Chamber of Commerce could be doing more, for their members. Did you know that you can get on doing it this way? Rural networks, for example. And I think equally, I'd love to see if the Honours Committees called upon those outside of London that have been given an MBE, OBE and CBE to pass that torch on.
Yeah.
Say, you know how it works. You know what you're doing. You know the benefits of a Royal Honour. You're one of the better people to see who's deserving, and let them know in your local community. Go for it. I'll help you. I'll support you.
Claire, you're very, very compelling. And before I let you go, a very quick question that Eddie Nestor and I sort of briefly touched on, and that is this old chestnut, the word empire coming after, so Order of the British Empire. Sure. Is it likely to be changed to excellence? I know there's been a long debate about this. What's the latest thinking about that?
It's a really good question, and it is something that needs addressing. Now, the last I heard, they were very seriously considering turning it to excellence. It was shortly after King Charles was brought into power. And I think since then it has fallen by the wayside somewhat, which shouldn't be the case. It does need to remain very much on the table. What I will say is that this time last year, the Honours Committees put a head of diversity into post, which would suggest to me winds of change, that they are being more inclusive, they are being broader in their views, because it is an old institution. It's been around a long time, and it will hold, like many, pillars of British culture, some old, out-of-date connotations. It's something I'd love to see changed, and soon. I'm with you.
Claire James, thank you so very much.